In this video, we will be comparing three different types of so-called geniuses that challenged their interrogators. We will also be presenting a summary of each interrogation's respective case. The most in-depth summary will be the main focus of this video, the case of certified genius Den Bowman. But before we can show you what the behavior of a certified genius looks like, we need to introduce to you the two other criminals whose level of genius is much easier to question.
But if I'm chipping away at that timeline, right, it can be exculpatory for you, meaning that it excludes you as a suspect.
I know, my vernacular is very good.
Sweet.
So, you don't have to explain your words to me.
This is David Wright, the first type of genius, the know-it-all. At 3:40 a.m. on February 17, 2019, David Wright and his friend Chris Phelps headed on their way to a Jack-in-the-Box parking lot to sell drugs. Both parties involved in this drug deal secretly planned to rob each other. When the two parties met, David took the offensive and pushed for the other group to hand over their belongings. This did not go as David planned, and the other party pepper-sprayed Chris and then took off running. David acted quickly, and he immediately fired a gunshot at Raul Cuadro. Raul was hit directly in the chest and he passed away while lying on the pavement in the parking lot. David and Chris then hopped into a vehicle driven by their getaway drivers, Cody Anderson and Raymond Tanhill. They were then taken to a nearby farmhouse where they disposed of the weapon and changed their clothes. All of the parties were quickly identified due to multiple cameras surrounding the scene of the crime, and 2 days later, David was brought in for questioning.
So I would like to hear from you what happens.
Well, I have no clue because I'm just now hearing about this. So,
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, is kind of out the door at this point. I got several people who have already identified you. You're identified on video. So it's not a question of that you were there. It's more a question of what led up to this. Because I don't think this is what was actually supposed to happen, right? So you're just going to play that you have no idea what happened because you weren't there.
I was not, no. I've been out of jail for all of a week and a half. I've spent almost every minute of it with my girlfriend. As for, did I plan to kill anybody? Did I kill anybody? No, I didn't.
So when I look at the GPS on your phone, it's not going to tell me that, it's going to tell me that you were with your girlfriend the whole time, that you never were over at Jack in the Box.
It should.
And the only reason you might tell me that is because maybe you didn't take your phone.
Or maybe somebody else had my phone. It's been known to happen. Quite often, actually. My phone has been, I left it in one person's car, and it took me a day and a half to get it back.
When was that?
That was earlier in the week. And then I let somebody use my phone. They were supposed to just go to 7-Eleven to go meet somebody that was selling something to an offer up.
Mm-hmm.
And they had apparently 7 or 8 things that they had to do between then and when they got back to the house.
So what day was that?
I don't remember.
And who was that?
That was the guy that goes by Memphis. It's a nickname. I think his first name's Joe. Black guy.
The problem with David's overly confident attitude is that he seems to have gone into this with no foresight or strategy. He constantly realizes that what he is saying could come back later to bite him. He changes his story in the moment and then tries to play it off cool. But these story changes add up, and it only makes it more clear that David has no solid alibi.
That we have all your co-suspects under arrest. All I want from you is a reason. I understand what happened. I just need to know why.
The only person I know you have under arrest is Chris.
Okay. We have Cody under arrest, and we have Tannehill, what's his name, Ray?
Ray.
He's in custody as well. Chris is under arrest because we viewed messages on the phones that organized picking you up. Those same messages from you to Cody. We have them on their phone. We've already viewed them. We have the Facebook communications between Chris and Brianna.
Well, you can't threaten me with jamming her up.
It's not a threat, man. I'm just telling you how it plays out. Like, I'm going to go talk to her, and she's going to be dumb enough to lie for you when I got video evidence that you weren't with her. I don't think you were a stone cold killer. I don't. Like, if you accidentally shot the dude because you flinched or you got scared because of something he did, now is the time.
How the f*** would somebody accidentally shoot somebody?
David is clearly driven by one thing, his ego. He would rather dig himself a deeper hole than admit that somebody else is smarter than him. For the rest of this interrogation, he does just that.
Because I met up with somebody doesn't mean that I went with them to go do something. People buy guns for all sorts of reasons, man.
Yeah, but in this instance, there was a murder.
So you clearly have a general distrust of the police. Is that fair to say?
I distrust almost everybody. I ain't shoot nobody. He should put himself around better people.
Okay. You know he's going to read this, right? I mean, he's going to have disclosure.
It's fine.
It's on tape, man. There ain't no secret. Like,
Dude, I've got to walk my dog. Of course I leave the house. Periodic.
okay. Well, that's not home. Did you lie to me?
No.
I don't even get a smile out of that one? I didn't get you on that one? I feel like I got you on that.
Then doesn't seem like a big deal to me where I go.
Okay, unless you're being charged with murder, and it kind of is a big deal, right?
Yeah, but if I don't pay attention to and keep track of these things, how the fuck am I going to tell you where I was without lying to you then? Because I don't know exactly when I was there.
Well, you could at least try.
Yeah, I would try. If it can rule you out as a suspect in a homicide, I would try.
The fact that you're talking to me like I'm a child,
You're
and
not,
that
I'm not
fucking
talking to you
liar,
like a
is
child.
fucking upsetting.
How did I talk to you like a child? Tell me when. I
If
think
you
I've
have to
been,
explain a word that you're using to me.
most people don't know what that word means. I apologize.
Most people are
if-
fucking idiots.
Okay, you can pretend you're getting upset about it, but you're really not.
No, what I'm getting upset about is you call me a liar.
Because you lied. You lied. And I don't actually think I called you a liar. I did say you lied, but I don't think I actually called you a liar. So I'll call it to you now so we can just move past it. You are a liar. You have lied.
With this statement, David must have realized that he had talked far too much and said nothing for the rest of his time in custody. He was later taken to court and plead not guilty, which only resulted in David receiving the maximum sentence, 40 years without the possibility of parole. The obvious takeaway from this example is that a genius would not speak to the authorities without an attorney present. The second type of so-called genius is a little bit different. His name is Mark Denlow. He also agreed to answer questions but seems to have a bit more experience in dealing with the authorities. Unlike David, Mark has a plan going into this to set strong boundaries. Mark.
Mark? Yep. My name's Scott Curtis with the Clark County Sheriff's Office.
All right. What's your name?
Kevin. Harper.
Kevin?
Also with Clark County. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read them to you.
Okay.
All right. Before you are asked any questions, you must understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer before we ask you any questions and have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford a lawyer, the court will appoint one before any questioning. Okay? I have read each of the above rights and understand them. Is that correct, sir?
Yep.
All right. If I can have you sign right there, please.
What's going on, fellas?
You're with a motorcycle club. You have some affiliation with one. Is that right?
I don't have any answers for questions like that.
Okay. Well, the reason I'm asking is that a few months back, a gentleman named Jeff Sudan, you know him? He threw your name out in conjunction with kind of a repossession of a car, or collection of a car. Does that sound familiar to you?
No. Jeff Sudan almost might. I'm not sure about that. It seems like Sudan rings a bell somewhere, but no, collections of a car. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
The officers spend the next few moments trying to get general information about Mark and his partner Nicole.
Okay. So this last time, how long has she
So
been?
there's my background. That's it on Nicole. What else you want to know?
Okay.
Is Nicole the problem here? I mean, I know that she's had the cops over a few times.
Okay.
And she's had problems with the hospital and her.
Tell me about the hospital.
Well, if you don't know about it, then that's not what you're talking to me
Okay.
about. You'd already. Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
I
Is that
know
what
you-
this is about?
No.
Is it about the other night?
It does involve Nicole. So
Okay.
I don't know what the hospital thing is, so if that's not part of Nicole's issues, then
Okay.
so Nicole had a.
I'm not going to answer any more questions about Nicole. I don't have any more answers for you until I find out what you're talking about. If you don't want to tell me what the heck I'm doing here, say so. Because I'm not going to sit here and give you a bunch of my background so you can play whatever kind of game you're playing.
To answer Mark's question, he was brought in due to the kidnapping, torture, and murder of a former member of his club, the Gypsy Jokers. Robert Huggin, or Bagger Bob as Mark calls him, was allegedly kicked out of the gang for stealing from the club and blaming it on heroin. As payback for being kicked out of the gang, Robert allegedly broke into Mark's home. He assaulted and tied up Mark's partner, Nicole, and proceeded to steal many of the firearms that Mark kept in the house. Robert's body was found days later, battered with lacerations across the chest, a fractured skull, and his nipples cut off. The detectives are easing into the interrogation, trying to make Mark feel safe instead of outright accusing him of murdering Beggar Bob. They are doing this by using Jeff Sudan as a cover story for why he is being questioned and leaving out details about Beggar Bob's death in order to bring them up strategically. However, Mark is fully aware of this and is being strategic as well. He is operating under his own rules and boundaries and what he should and shouldn't talk about. He only gives the detectives small pieces of insignificant information to make it seem like he is cooperating with them.
You guys are way off, man.
Okay.
You guys don't know. I don't know who's telling you these stories, and I'm not sure who Jeff Sudan is, but I can tell you right now, nobody's ever returned a car to me from anybody ever in my life.
So if we got the story wrong, can you help us out with that?
Well, I'm not going to straighten your story out. No, I'm not. Okay. Not until I find out why I'm sitting here.
That look familiar to you, sir?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What do you know that guy by?
I'm not going to answer your questions.
That's a picture of Jeff Sudan.
Oh, okay. I did not know that was that guy's name.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Now I'm starting to put it together.
Okay.
But I thought that those charges were dropped on him and stuff like that.
Is Bagger Bob part of that? Part of her junkie friends?
Bagger Bob?
Yeah. That ring a bell?
Fuck, you're talking? Yeah, I know who that is. He's fucking the guy that got killed about a fucking year and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was he one of the ones who set this up with Nicole?
Man, you're going to have to, if you're trying to like tie that into this or something like that, you're going to have to talk to Nicole about that.
Okay.
I don't really understand why this stuff that you're talking about with this dude and the car stuff, why would that get handcuffs put on me?
Well,
why would those handcuffs go on me? What did I do that was illegal in any of that stuff? What did I even have to do with it? I wasn't even there for any of it. None of it. Okay. Not anything that you've talked about so far. I was a long way away from it. Mm-hmm. So why would I get handcuffs put around my fucking wrist for it? Do you suspect me of something?
Well, help us get this unconfused.
Because if you suspect me of doing a crime, let me know so I can get a lawyer. You know what I mean?
Okay. I don't think we've accused you of committing
a crime. No, you haven't. And that's why I'm still looking at these marks on my wrists and going, man, what a way to treat somebody who's not suspected of doing a crime. So, now what?
Well,
am I arrested for anything?
You're being detained at this point.
Okay, but I'm not under arrest quite yet.
That's correct.
Okay, then I don't need a lawyer quite yet.
As previously alluded to, Mark is operating under his own set of terms. One of Mark's terms is that he would need a lawyer if he is being arrested or being accused of a crime. So, the detectives are careful with their words, only saying that he is currently detained. Mark does not realize that by definition, being detained means that they've already accused him of a crime. Put simply, criminal code states that in order to detain somebody without warrant, police must have reason to believe that this person has committed or will commit an indictable offense. By his own rules, Mark should have already asked for a lawyer. It's not until the end of the interrogation when the charges are brought up that Mark finally asks for an attorney. It's technical misunderstandings like this that will exemplify why a lawyer is crucial. Boundaries during an interrogation are fortified by legal literacy. So having a lawyer ASAP is the safest option. Mark eventually went to trial and was found guilty on all charges. He was sentenced to life in prison. That brings us to the main subject of our video. The story begins in Seattle, Washington on the evening of August 31, 2012. Kevin Watts and his friend Angelo Rama were driving around a quiet suburban neighborhood when they heard 5 pop behind them. The next thing they saw was a BMW speeding past them into oncoming traffic through a red light. When they saw this, they decided to take justice into their own hands, and a brief car chase ensued. But they couldn't manage to catch up. They turned around to investigate where they heard the pops come from. Their intuition was correct. A shooting had taken place. A red Subaru Forester still sat before the intersection with its motor running. Glass from a car window was shattered all over the ground. 911 was called, and when detectives arrived on the scene, they confirmed that the victim was Yanzi Null. Yanzi was an avid outdoorsman who volunteered for Habitat for Humanity. He taught kids how to rock climb and was a course marshal during the Seattle Marathon. He was described as the glue that held together a large group of friends and neighbors. Yanzi had just left the QFC store on Capitol Hill where he worked as a wine steward. He was idling behind a bus waiting for a red light to change at 15th Avenue Northeast and Northeast 75th Street when someone pulled alongside him and opened fire. One of the shots fired had actually missed, and 92-year-old Mrs. Schulmeister nearly tripped on a bullet in her house. It was from a 9mm pistol. The bullet went out through the passenger side window of Yanzi's car, through a fence, through a window, through a lampshade, into a hallway, and directly impacted a picture of Mrs. Schulmeister's precious kitty cat, Miss BP, before falling to the floor. The other 4 bullets had connected with Yanzi, who had 4 gunshot wounds to his face and head. What made this crime scene peculiar was the shattered glass on Yanzi's driver's side. It turns out that his window was rolled down and unscathed, meaning the glass was not from his vehicle. The shooter must have shot through his own passenger side window. Fortunately, Kevin and Angelo were able to get a good look at the getaway vehicle as it sped past them, and detectives were able to issue a BOLO, aka a be on the lookout notice, for a silver BMW Z4 convertible with silver rims and a broken passenger side window. Additionally, since the passenger side window was shattered, Kevin Watts got a quick glimpse of the man behind the steering wheel and was able to give a detailed description of him. The police released this sketch to the public as well as still photos of the vehicle from a nearby security camera. Over the next 2 weeks, they received hundreds of tips and pulled over many BMW Z4s all over the city. However, one anonymous tip in particular caught their eye. An address was provided for a man named Den Bowman. However, besides the description, he seemed like the least likely of potential suspects to commit such a horrific crime. At age 13, Den was featured in a 1996 Seattle Times story when he was nationally ranked in fencing and already taking computer science courses at the Seattle Pacific University. By age 17, he had started his own successful robotics company, VAG Industries. He has been described by his peers as a brilliant engineer and has the certified IQ of a genius. Police set up a stakeout surrounding the Bowman residence, which was merely 10 blocks away from where Yanzi Null was gunned down. They monitored him for a week before catching one fateful glimpse into his garage. They spotted a silver BMW Z4. They were able to obtain a search warrant for his house and car as well as an arrest warrant. He was taken into custody and brought in for an interrogation.